In this fiery showdown, the enemy seeks weaknesses, finding a warship with guns ready to fire. Just offshore, on the 7-sack boat, the true ocean boss sits like a pirate king. With a single command, the soldiers are like a well-oiled machine, ready to unleash a thunderstorm of bullets. Bullets sipped out, and the once mighty steel fortress was reduced to Swiss cheese, looking like it had seen better days. Under the crossfire, the surrounds didn't stand a chance. The fortress crumbled like a tofu under a chef's knife. This was just the beginning of the mobile people's assault, as the soldiers quickly restocked ammo like it was candy, while other attacks raged on. Things were dicey. Marina frantically shook her mane as the scholar hastily packed to flee, quite comic. Compared to the mobile team's onslaught, the suburban defense seemed dreamlike water gunners falling, only Fireballs temporarily holding off the enemy. After such a long stalemate, the boss finally got fed up and issued another order like a parent telling a toddler to clean up. Suddenly, soldiers cranked levers to raise trays, while death squad members zoomed in on boards. Once the boards reached their peak, 4 guys on skateboards flew over the fort like it was an action movie stunt. Meanwhile, the speedboats stormed in like they were racing for the last can of soda, and the gods were howling in despair like they had just saw a ghost. To weaken defenses, soldiers pumped air-light balloons, accidentally hitting the switch, making the hot air balloon inflate cheerfully. Gas kept flowing into the balloon, but Helen and her group hadn't arrived, and the scholar tried to stop, but coincidence struck. Unexpectedly, a malfunctioning switch gave the balloon a confidence boost, while the speedboats powered it up to rush the enemies like they had something to prove. To break free, a speedboat dived underwater, swam under the fort, and burst into the marina. But one guy turned too quickly, slamming into a cage, and like magic, it crashed down. Seizing the moment, Marina frantically searched for a dagger to pick the lock, as waves of people poured in and the battle took a nosedive. Amid the chaos, Helen heard the call and, with no, frantically fled like mischievous kids chasing. Marina finally broke free, but the dagger was as flimsy as a paper fold, snapping in half like it couldn't take the pressure. The balloon inflated way too much, floating skyward, as the scholar tried to pull it down, feeling about as useful as a twig in a windstorm. Up in the sky, the lift shot up while the scholar desperately yelled to stop it, but Helen was racing up the steps like she was trying to catch a train. Unfortunately, despite Helen's fierce determination, she couldn't match the ascent, and the rope thrown by the scholar fell short like an abandoned dream. The scholar apologized repeatedly, whisked away, but Helen refused to give up, dashing for the balcony. But no miracle happened. The lift just kept rising and drifting away, while Noah took to Helen, pointing to the horizon. In the distance, Marina's cage was nearly submerged in the muck. Despite her adorable looks, she was struggling to breathe in the sludge. Just when she was on the verge of suffocation, Helen appeared like a superhero, yanking Marina out of the muck with all her might. Offering escape from the reef, she swiftly negotiated, and Marina couldn't dare refuse such a deal. Helen grabbed the crowbar and pried the cage open with all her might, making a sound that echoed through the battlefield like a resounding can opener. On the other side, the excited boss was calmly playing golf when he glanced up and saw a hot air balloon swaying precariously overhead. He hastily ordered his men, but hit his speedboat, causing a thunderous explosion and sparks flying. As the fight neared its end, realizing they had to open the port gate to escape, Helen and the gang rushed toward the controls while Marina gracefully dove in. She swam toward her sailboat at incredible speed, like a flippered fashionista in the ocean. Moments later, she reached the underside of the sailboat, sprang up, and seeing the enemies, she cracked the whip like a pro. Spotting the speedboats bullying everyone at the port, Marina hopped onto her boat, yanked the nearest mobile guy right into the sea. It was a blast. Turning around, she saw the boss shielding a child. She slashed down, saving the child, and returning a favor in the process. To end the fight quickly, the mobile boss sent in his death squad, racing towards the reef base with fuel-filled ships. Just as Marina unfurled her sail, the suicide ship crashed into the reef, making a boom that looked like popcorn popping all over the place. Instantly, a hole blasted in the reef wall, and thousands of armed mobile people flooded in like a New Year's parade. Marina fled, witnessing the reef's collapse as invaders took over. Even the blonde in the store joined in. He eagerly commanded his men to capture young Noah, while Marina shot out a lasso, missing her target by a whisker. The blonde guy freaked out, and his crew started firing wildly, just as Helen arrived at the gate controls, ready to unleash the door. But enemies that blocked the way, shooting constantly, forcing Helen and Noah to hide behind the other side of the door. A speedboat accidentally slammed into the gate, causing an explosion that sent Helen and Noah soaring like superheroes. Marina's sailboat finally made it to the gate, but got stuck due to its width. She hurried to untie the ropes, climbing rapidly like a ninja. Seeing so many controls, Noah climbed up from Helen and confidently shouted commands. Marina flipped the switches. Seeing the sailboat move, she felt elated and ran back to the frame. With a turn and leap, Marina landed smoothly like bungee jumping and dashed to the controls. Inspired by Helen, Noah bravely jumped down, landing on the mesh with an exuberant thud. They decided to secure the boat because, after all, those tomatoes cost a fortune. Without those, they would have been doomed ages ago. Subscribe to our channel for new hilarious content every week. Don't miss out.